สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you a recipe that is perfect for using up any leftover meat, especially if you've got Thanksgiving turkey left over, which, let's face it, we always do, or leftover roast chicken, like rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, any kind of leftover meat really. And we're going to turn it into tom kloang. And tom kloang is what I like to call the smoky sister of tom yum. Very similar sort of ingredients, but quite a different flavor in the end. So easy. Let's get started. So I mentioned that this is the smoky sister of tom yum, and there are a few ingredients that are responsible for said smokiness. And the first thing is dried chilies. Now, dried chilies normally are not that smoky, but I sauteed it, just dry sauteed it in a wok until they start developing a little bit of a charred spot, and then you really smell beautiful smoky toasty aroma. You can also put this under the broiler, but be really careful, set it on low because these burn very quickly. Shallots. So these are shallots that I've put under the broiler until they are nice and smoky and charred, just like that. Again, you can do this as well on the grill. Now, the third smoky thing is a bit of a workaround. So in Thailand, traditionally we put dried smoked fish, okay? And that's the main smoky flavor. But I can't find Thai-style dried smoked fish here. But what I can find is Japanese dried smoked fish, or bonito flakes. In Japanese, this is called katsuobushi. Surprisingly, this gives off almost exactly the same flavor as the Thai dried smoked fish, so it's a perfect substitute. So at the store, it'll come in, sometimes it's a big bag. I like these little individual packs like this, and it came in a bigger container. This is made from smoked and cured tuna, and it smells wonderful. Oh, smells so good. It's a little bit of a cheat. If you're in Thailand, go and find Thai dried smoked fish, or called pak gop, okay? Other than that, we are using the standard tom yum trinity, which is lemongrass, galangal, and kaffir lime leaves. Now these are frozen, which is the way I store my galangal. And if you're wondering what kind of leftover meat I'm using my recipe for barbecue chicken. But I roasted it last night. So last night I had roast chicken for dinner. I made extra so I'd have enough for today. Torn up by hand. I like the look of sort of hand-torn chicken. Makes it rustic. I threw the skin in there, and that also adds extra smokiness. So when you have barbecue chicken or roasted chicken, and that sort of the flavor from the skin is gonna be in the soup. So good. And if you don't have any leftover meat, that's okay. You can also just put in raw meat or shrimp or whatever kind of protein you want. However, if your leftover meat has a really distinct, strong flavor of something that's just not gonna work, just watch out for that. But other things that are relatively neutral flavored, they will all work. In this pot, I've got some chicken stock. Now, if you have leftover turkey or chicken, use the carcass to make this stock, okay? And I have a recipe for how to make your own stock. You want it to be unsalted, whatever you do. And I'm gonna first start by infusing the shallots and the chilies into this stock. And the shallot's gonna sweeten the broth just a little bit because there's no added sugar in this recipe. I love it. If you wanna make this spicy, break up the chilies. And you wanna make this a little bit spicy, but how many chilies you wanna break up, that's up to you. So I'm gonna let that come to a simmer a few minutes until the shallots are nice and soft. So once the shallots are nice and soft, because you want to be able to eat the shallots and have that become sort of the sweet little nuggets. So I've got some lemongrass going in, the kaffir lime leaves, which I am going to tear, and the galangal. Now, these herbs do not take a lot of time to infuse. Just a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes is fine. Our katsuobushi. Now, I don't mind having these sort of swimming around in there. I don't mind eating them. But if you want to sort of strain it out at the end, you can wrap these in a cheesecloth so that you can then remove them. And now I'm gonna season this soup. I'm gonna go in with some fish sauce, some tamarind, and I'm not adding any sugar, any sort of sweetener, because unlike tom yum, this soup is primarily just salty and sour, but the natural sweetness from the shallots will help balance all of that out. Chicken. This chicken was so good. But that's okay. It's gonna be good in here too. Let that chicken absorb some of that flavor. You don't have to add any vegetables to it, but I think some mushrooms is great. I've got today some king oyster mushrooms, and I've also got some shimeji mushrooms, which I love. Now, ideally, I would have put in oyster mushrooms, but I couldn't find it at the store. They didn't have it. I was very upset. If you're in a place where you can find fresh straw mushrooms, actually those are more traditional. So let that heat up, and now we're gonna bring this to a boil. And if you want, you can also add tomatoes. Some people add tomatoes as well. So I am going to turn this off, and I'm going to go in with some extra lime juice. Now I'm using both tamarind and lime as the sources of acid in this because I like the richness of the tamarind, but I like the bright freshness of lime juice. So the two of them together, Now taste and adjust. Always, always, always taste and adjust, especially when it comes to soup. Ooh, that's spicy, smoky. You can really taste the fish flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit of fish sauce. And an extra squeeze of lime. It could really use a little extra brightening. Now, you can have the soup just on its own, but in Thailand, we always have this with rice. Make yourself a little rice soup, so put some rice into your soup bowl, or you can just pour this over rice. A lot of times we just eat it sort of like something to wash down other dishes with. Add a little freshness with some chopped cilantro. Oh, just the smell. This is one of those dishes where you smell it and any Thai would know that's tom kloang. The shallots, still a little bit of crunch but sweet, that it balances out the tartness of the lime juice and the tamarind and the smoky flavor. Oh, this is perfect. So if you have leftover chicken or turkey, let's not microwave it to death the next day. It's gonna get all dry anyway. So why not turn it into this delicious soup, which is almost better than the chicken was yesterday, to be honest. And so if you want this recipe, it is on hotthaikitchen.com. And when you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and I will include a sample of them in my monthly newsletter, and you can go and sign up for the newsletter right here. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, the button for that is right there. And I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.